Good morning or good afternoon, I should say. Good morning. But how's everyone doing this evening? We're just hanging out here, waiting for a couple people to jump in the stream and talking with roll call here. We're just talking over finding ammunition. Where is it? Where has ammunition been? And what is this other ammunition we're seeing on the shelves at our local gun stores and at our big box stores? What is this ammunition? Where is it coming from? Is it safe to shoot in our firearms? Is it good ammunition? What's the deal with it? That's what we're trying to figure out. We've got one in the audience right now. We're just waiting for a couple more people to jump in here before we get going. It's still a little early. We've got three now. Hey, roll call. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and explain what you've been up to and what you do?
Well, of course, I'm Roll Call 219. I got my own channel on YouTube. I'm heavily into Instagram. Uh, the channel is basically to spread information that I come across. I make sure I fact check it to the best of my ability, and I always stand correct if I'm wrong on stuff. But that's what the main channel is, to go around and distribute information and do it in a responsible way. And I do advocate for the Second Amendment. I wouldn't call myself an advocate. I wouldn't call myself but some of these big ones that are out there floating around on social media. I just, I like to talk to people. I like to find out certain things. I like to spread that information, and I like to get people aware of their constitutional rights, all of them, because they're all important. The Second Amendment is deeply important, and especially what we see in times that we live in today. So that's basically what the channel is formed around. That's what I try and really hit on the heavy hitters of the videos. I do gun reviews. I do talk about some gear that I pick up. Um, I do have some prior service that's involved in that, but I don't really talk about that. I think it's obsolete to the most certain extent, especially in today's standards, because it was never like this way back in the day. It wasn't as engulfed in the left and right paradigm. And when you go on the channel, you can see that. Hopefully, you can see that I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I would call myself more of somebody that's structured along the Constitution with some libertarian values. So you're not going to get the far left stuff. You're not going to get the far right stuff. You're going to get a different perspective of how I look at the left and right paradigm as well into some of the videos. So that's basically what the channel's about.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing. It's an information based channel, and you're non politically directed. So basically, you're just looking for the truth, and you're not really worried about who gives it to you. You just want to get the truth and pass that along after you've made sure what you have received is correct.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the most important things. I mean, look at the way the news media spins things. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting, and look how chaotic they've made people become, especially in nowadays. What we're looking at with I call it the cocoa. You know what I'm saying? Look how bad it's getting people inflamed and enraged, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people being dishonest about certain things, whether it's political standpoint or Second Amendment issues. I mean, we have to, I believe, put party aside, regardless, and really find the facts and find the truth. I mean, we could always reside in those stances, but when both sides are telling you different stories and they're both lying to you at times, I mean, you gotta find the truth, and that's what I think is most important, and especially the way the big tech groups are treating us, just average citizens. I'm against silencing Trump. I think he has a right to say what he has to say. He's got that right, and it's foul that they did what they did to him. But they've done that to a lot of people, and I don't think that's right. But we do have to sift through the misinformation, find the truth, and spread it to everybody. I think people will be a lot better off than what we're seeing in today's news cycles.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think a big problem, excuse me, a big problem we're having today is the news is picking a side. I think the news needs to be a more politically central type of agencies. I think they need to report facts that they've checked, and they need to leave their personal opinions and their political values to themselves. It's just like what was it, Sergeant Friday used to say, "Just the facts, ma'am." That's all I want. I don't want to hear all of your opinionated pieces on crap. I just want the facts. And that brings us down to tonight's topic: ammunition roll call, and where the heck is it? And what about this ammo that we're seeing on the shelves? Is it any good? Where's it coming from? Is it safe for our firearms? Are we going to have any issues with safety? I think everybody kind of wants to know that, what are these brands? I'm seeing a lot of brands coming from Turkey, from Spain, just all over the world.
Yeah, that's a concern. Not only about what you just mentioned, but about American manufacturing. Where is the American manufacturing? I've done extensive research on some ammunition. It's called Igman, because I see it in a lot of other people's videos. Like when they go and they'll run around and try and find some ammunition, or trying to look at prices. Well, I've been finding this stuff at four of the biggest stores in my area. Granted, I don't live in a big city, but I'm surrounded by big cities. And I wanted to do my research on it, and that video's up on the channel. This company's from Bosnia, and they have a huge presence right now in my area, in the markets, in these stores. And these are the same stores that I see on other people's videos that are around on YouTube. And it's very important to research that stuff. I've had bad ammunition in the past from companies outside of the U.S., but I've also had bad product here from U.S. companies. But it's really important that, as being a gun owner, that you understand what you're putting in your gun, to understand where it's coming from, how's it manufactured, who's manufacturing that ammunition, and have they had any problems in the past? We just seen Winchester with that pretty big recall on 9mm, and that's the most common caliber that's used in the United States and around the world. Even militaries use that caliber. So you have to be aware of what you're putting into your firearm for your own benefit. We've seen what happens when you put bad ammunition in a firearm. Go ask Kentucky Ballistics. I shouldn't have to tell you that you do not want that to happen to you. But again, you better understand who's manufacturing your ammunition, especially if it's coming from outside the country.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happens is you go into buy ammunition at a store, and you look and you see these boxes of ammo from all over, and and some people are like, well, it says 9mm Luger on there, or 9mm Parabellum, but I have never seen that brand before. The boxes are different and stuff like that. And it's important, for people that are going to be, that's why I'm saying right now, it might be best to be buying your ammunition from your local gun shops. These people are buying ammunition that they can sell to their customers, their friends, their family members, and they are a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, roll call. You guys are a little bit more, you care a little bit more about the customer. So they're not going to get stuff that is going to hurt you. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask one of the fellas at the store, at the gun shop. If you have any questions about any type of ammunition, it's best to ask first, because once you purchase ammunition, very few, if any, places will take it back because of insurance reasons, even if it hasn't been opened. But the thing is, where do people? So you're going to be doing some reviews on this ammunition and showing what's safe to shoot. I'm taking. Is that what you've been working on?
Yeah, I bought quite a few boxes of this stuff. Again, prices are gonna be a little bit off from area to area. So I bought a couple boxes of this Igman stuff. I believe it's 223. I believe it might be 55 grain. I'd have to look at the grainage, but I want to see what it does. This company is the third largest small arms manufacturer in Europe. And I want to see, I'm just curious, curiosity. Hopefully it doesn't do what it does to the cats. But, I want to see what it's performing on paper. I want to see if it's viable. What we saw over the summer was incredible. And I've never seen this much unrest over a long time. I was in a foreign country when I seen so much civil unrest. But when you need to use your firearm, you want to know if this ammunition is going to perform and it's going to be viable. I put a lot of stuff in different ammo cans. Like, if this stuff is not proficient enough for me to go hunting with, if it's not proficient enough for me to defend myself with, that's the stuff that I just shoot at the range, where I'm plinking around. I care where the rounds are going, but I'm not trying to find some kind of accuracy. I'm not trying to be proficient with it. But it's very important that I know I can depend my life on this stuff. I don't want to put something in my gun where I pull the trigger, it goes click, and there's no bang, or it sounds odd. And then what are you going to do? Squib loads are a fact. Squib loads happen, and that could be detrimental to you and people around you if they're by you while you're shooting a firearm. So I'm going to do some testing on this stuff. I really want to put it on paper. I want to see what kind of grouping I'm going to get out of it. Now, granted, my channel is not the military arms channel. This is not the Iraq veteran 1188s. So I'm not shooting this gun, or I'm not shooting this ammunition out of a gun that's $4,000 or $5,000. I'm shooting it out of something that I put together, that I put thousands of rounds into. But yet, this is the gun that I'm going to use to defend myself if I have to. So I want to see the performance of it. I want to see if it's viable. And plus, it was cheaper than American manufactured ammunition. So is it going to be cost efficient for me? Is it going to perform to the standards like you were talking about, like Hornady? Is it going to be up to the standards like what Federal puts out? And if it is, I have a possibility of saving money. I have a possibility of it. I mean, we're all not millionaires here.
Right.
So if I can cut the corners a little bit, that's fine. But again, if the ammunition is not going to, toe the line, then I'm willing to spend the extra $5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I mean, if we can save a little money, and if this stuff is decent, it may not be something you want to use for self-defense ammunition. That's something. And the name of this company is, I want to say it's Igman. How do you spell that? Roll call. How do you?
It's IGMAN. It's Igman.
Oh,
Igman Manufacturing. Yeah.
okay. All right, because it
Yeah.
sounds like they may manufacture other stuff as well if they're named a manufacturing name instead of just an ammunition company name. So
And what
these
makes it,
guys, yeah, I was just going to say
well,
these guys may be a big European manufacturer that produce other uh, products that, so they may have a long name in manufacturing. They may have. Do you know how long they've been manufacturing ammunition?
I think if I can remember what I said in the video, I think since 1958 or
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it was prior to Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So
so that's
I mean, they've been around. They've been around for a while.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, they've got the name brand that's set up. So they've been making it this long. It's not like they just went into business a year ago. And so that's going to give me a little bit better feeling about it. I just want to know how accurate it is going to tell me what the quality control is. And I just want to
Yeah,
say hi
and
to a
that's something.
couple of people.
But
Hold on for a second, roll. Let me yell at a couple people in the audience real quick. JH586, Jamie, brother, good evening and welcome. G23, welcome to the show. Miss Vanessa Kitty, welcome to the show, ma'am. Michael, welcome to the show. Nice to see you here. Just making sure I got everybody. Walter, what is going on? Uncle John, always a pleasure. Let's see. I think AR was in here too. AR Guns. What's going on, brother? Oh, Ahab, what is going on, brother? Making sure I get everybody here. Oh, Jason Stewart stopped by. Hey, Jason, what's going on? We're just talking ammunition with roll call. All right, I think I just about got everybody there as I think. Oh, no, Andre D'Angelo. What's going on, Andre? Thanks for coming by, sir. Let's see. Okay, I think I got everybody there. If there's any questions in the audience that you want to ask roll call, drop them in the comments section. And we're just going to continue on with our little talk about what's going on with the ammo and crisis in this country right now. So continue on roll call. Now, you said now this Igman ammo has been manufacturing since 58. Now, have we seen this ammunition on our shelves before in this country?
That's the thing I don't know. I've been shooting for a long time, but I look at it this way. Back in the day, I'd even go back as long as like 6 years ago. You know, ammunition was affordable. You know, there wasn't like I call it now a crunch. It wasn't a crunch. There wasn't high price. I mean, I remember everybody can remember getting boxes of 9mm for $7.99. So if this stuff was on the shelf, it wasn't real noticeable because we're all shooting Federal, we're shooting S&B, we're shooting, of course, Winchester. We're shooting these brands that we were probably brought up on as kids. So that's another thing. I've never, as long as I can remember, I've never seen it on our shelves. And I've never seen a lot of the other ammunition that has popped up. I don't know if anybody else out in the crowd has a place called Shoot Point Blank, but they just sent me another email, and they have a high price on boxes of 9mm, $27.99. Which again, remember, I just referenced prices from back in the day, so you can see how crunched it is. But this company again is from Turkey, and I've never heard of this brand. It started with an O. I got it on that video. I show a picture of it, and they sent me another one because they're probably having a hard time pushing it. But again, I've never noticed this many foreign manufacturing products on a shelf. Now, what is that due to? Is that due to a high volume of new gun owners? And now, when they go and research their firearm, and they come across like a big YouTuber's video that's sponsored by Federal, that's sponsored by Fiocchi or something like that, and they go to the store and buy it. Is that why, is that why we're seeing more manufacturers from outside the country? Is because these new gun owners, they're not familiar with stuff. They're trending towards what is a common thing. That's what the human race does. We always gravitate towards what we know and what other people say is good to use. So is that causing this kind of big influx into it? Because I've seen a ton of YouTubers videos, and they'll name off the brands, and Igman is on their shelves, and Igman is really present on every video that I've seen, and these people are a far distance from me. They either live in the South or they even live, in the Northeast. So why all of a sudden is it because of the pricing? Because maybe these American companies are charging a couple of more bucks. It's just ZQI is another one. There's just a lot of questions that I have of why is it so relevant on the shelves today? Why didn't we see it back in 2015, 2016? Leading up to the presidential election, the first go around. Or did we just not notice it? Has it been there the whole time, and we just didn't notice it? So there's a lot of things, a lot of questions I want to find the answers to, and it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah, I for one have never seen it. And I've been in Florida since '72, and I've never seen it on the shelves. And I've been around firearms since I was probably 5, 6 years old, always with my dad. I've never seen the brand before, and that IQ, or what was it? IQ, what was it? IQ.
ZQI.
ZQI, yeah, that one. That one I have 1,000 rounds of 308 Winchester, and I bought it when Walmart was having that stuff. It was $9.99 for a box of 20 cartridges. And I bought as much as I could because it was just cheap 308, and I needed some ammo for stockpiling, and I was gonna shoot it in my LR 308 semi-auto. And then I figured, what the heck, I'll keep the brass afterwards. And after talking with a few people, I found out that the brass is reloadable. It's not the highest quality brass. There's a lot of tin in it, so it gets work hardened quick. But if you anneal it, which is basically re-softening the brass on the neck and the shoulder, it seems to work for about 5 firings. So I know a little bit about that particular brand because I've shot it and I own some of it. Is it accurate? It is somewhat accurate. It's not match grade ammunition. It's not going to be a hand loaded ammunition. It's going to be something you use to plink with, or in a situation you had to hunt with it, you could, because minute of angle or a little over that is good enough for hunting game. And it's capable of doing that, and it's also capable of defending your property, because I don't think you're going to be shooting out past 200 yards. But even if you had to, you could still do it with that ammunition. I've shot it, and it seems good. The powder seems to be not be too dirty for cleaning your barrel and stuff like that. It's a non-corrosive boxer primed brass case with a full metal jacket, copper jacketed lead projectile. So other than that, that's about all the information I have on that one particular brand. And like I said, that's just because I happen to have come across that brand a few times. So what about now? I've had been on the phone with Hornady a couple of times, and I've been talking with a couple of the guys that I know that work in their customer service department, in their reloading section, because I always call up there, and if I have an issue or I have a question, I'll talk to somebody that knows something about reloading because I'm dealing with reloading. But while I have them on the phone, I sometimes will bring up in conversation, hey, what's going on with this ammo thing? Why in the hell can I buy Hornady ammo when I go to Walmart for my 308? I used to always be able to, even, I mean, with the COVID and everything. And he's like, well, he told me, he says, we're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're even working Christmas this year. And he says, we're running our machines as fast and as hard as we can to get the ammunition to the customer. He goes, he said that there is sometimes a little bit they run low on raw materials because there's a big press right now for raw materials in this country, like copper, lead. Well, not lead, he said, but for copper, lead is so well regulated that you can pretty much get it anytime you need it. People make it sound like lead is some foreign product and that it's going to poison and kill you if you handle it. Listen, when I was 7, 8 years old, I used to chew lead sinkers onto my fishing lines. Okay. And I never developed any like a flipper on my forehead. So the bottom line there is lead, they make it seem like you're going to die from it if you touch it. And it's not the case. Some lead in certain states, like in a gaseous state, can very well, you can inhale it, it can kill you because it's a heavy metal and you can't get rid of it. But in its solid form that they mine it out of the ground, it's pretty safe. I mean, put it this way, they used to use lead to make drinking glasses out of. If it really was that deadly, wouldn't those people just all died and we would have had like this huge miss of people in our populace? I'm kind of digressing here, but I'm just saying it's a little bit, I don't want to be in contact with it any more than I have to because I know it's a heavy metal, and arsenic's a heavy metal if it gives you any idea. But the bottom line is it's not as deadly as people sometimes make it out to be. You just got to be careful. But that's what's going on with Hornady. They're running 24/7. And from what I get from Winchester, what I could pry from the lady I talked to like 14 times between the time I first talked to Roll Call and now, is that they are running around the clock doing the best they can to get ammunition to their distributors and their wholesalers. The same with Hornady. So I'm guessing the same with Remington. Remington is still under construction, I believe, in Alabama on their new munitions plant. They are actually rebuilding a brand new facility for manufacturing ammunition, and it's going to be able to pump out almost a third more ammunition than they have ever been able to turn out before. So that's a big thing, and I hope that within a year or so of being complete, that'll help offset some of this demand as well. So Roll Call, what brands you've been seeing? The ZQI, I believe it. If I mess these up, it's because I'm stupid. It's just how it is. I'm really bad with like prefixes and things like that. But unless it stands for something that I can pronounce, but I'm guessing ZQI is probably something I'm not going to be able to pronounce. So what do you think, dude? Do you think what do we got to look forward to? Do you think with this demand? Because obviously, if this is what the manufacturers are telling us, then that's why this ammunition is showing up on the shelves. We're seeing these foreign ammunition show up on the shelves not just because of price being a little cheaper. I think it's just because they're on the phone 24/7 with Hornady, Winchester, Remington, and Federal trying to get ammunition, and they just don't have it. And they'll and basically, if they can't get it, they have to be able to make money. A lot of these places, this is how they stay afloat, is they sell ammunition, and like at gun shops. A lot of you won't believe this, but guns aren't that make the payments at gun shops. They don't pay the bills. It is very small profit margin. If you saw what a gun shop made off of a Glock 17 4th gen, you'd be like, that's it. It literally, I personally would sell 25 guns a week, and those would be handguns, rifles. That was my average. Okay. A couple of the other guys in there that were knowledgeable fellas were just there with me. So you're looking at right there 75 handguns a week. And most businesses are making less than $50 off of a handgun sale.
Yeah.
So
I believe it.
yeah. So there's that. So when you go into a gun shop, when you buy a firearm, that's not what they're making their money off of. They're making their money off of the ammunition, the holsters, the sights, the maybe some of the services they sell there, the t-shirts, the mugs. So when you go to your local gun shops, I highly recommend, if you don't have a whole lot of money like me, you make a little purchase. You buy a mug, a coffee cup. You're always going to have a coffee cup. You pour soda in it if you don't drink coffee, but you're helping out your local gun shops. And these, I think, are going to be the last footholds in our country to hold the Second Amendment dear, because these people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into these businesses. And our governor deemed gun shops essential businesses. Because he knew that in a situation like this, under an emergency state declaration of emergency like we were under, and still partially under, that firearms are an added bonus to the protection of each citizen, because a polite community is a well-armed community. And that is one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. You go to some of these communities here in Florida, and everyone is armed. You know it because you know the community you're entering in. There's no problems. There's less crime overall. There's less just problems, and firearms do that to this community. They pacify the communities that they're inducted into, and that boils down to the Second Amendment as a whole. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. My wife just got me a coffee, I think. Yep. A little coffee. Never hurt anyone. But so roll call. Back to the ammunition. Now that I'm off my soapbox about the Second Amendment, which is very important, but I like to stand on it from time to time. So what do you think, man? I think this ammunition is just what the people can get. I mean, if you've got a business and you've got to make money and you've got to have product to sell to make money, you're going to have to carry whatever product you can get your hands on. And that's why I'm saying the local gun shops are probably your best bet to buy ammunition from, because they're less likely to put something in your hands that's going to harm your firearm or your person. What do you feel about that?
I mean, a lot of it comes, there's a lot of factors. Now, I don't have any kind of inside information like you're getting from Hornady. I mean, I've contacted some ammo manufacturers and I haven't heard anything. The last video I put on about that we talked about here about the Igman stuff, somebody from Fort Scott Munitions contacted me. I have talked to Fort Scott in the past when I was down there in Wanamaker in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good manufacturing company, American made. I haven't heard back whether he could possibly get somebody to come on the show, and we can talk about their manufacturing problems. But you have to look at you have to look at the prices of shipping. Shipping, everybody knows it. If you order something from Amazon, it doesn't come in the mail the next day. Sometimes it's held, especially if it comes from a different country. It's held in customs. I mean, gasoline's gone up, especially diesel.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's a lot of things that factor into it. But is this the only stuff that they can find? I think so. I
I
think
think it is.
I think that's where they're finding their deals. I think that's where they're making their profit at. Every store, like you mentioned, they don't make a lot. I've watched a gun come out of my store, and we made $2 off of it.
Yep.
I remember well. It was an M&P 22, a little
Yep.
22 handgun.
Yep.
You know, you're the gun shops aren't. That's not where their profit is. Their profit is everything else that's out on the floor that you see. You snake up a holster or a sling or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
and
exactly what I
ammunition.
was saying. I'm saying right now, um, when you go into a store and you purchase something, purchase whatever you can to help out the store. Um, and little purchases all add up because if you buy a coffee mug, it's 100% markup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something going
Oh,
on with my
exactly.
audio?
No, I got you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can hear you.
All right. Good.
I mean, that's another thing that I said. I don't know if I said it in my video, but that's another thing you got to understand. I see a lot of these people. Well, I had to pay, $4 more at my local. You got to understand. They got to keep the lights on. They're not branched out. They're not a multi-trillion-dollar company like we see some places are, like Walmart and Shields and all those other places. So they got to do something to kind of keep the lights on, and that's why you're paying an extra couple of bucks for a box of ammunition. But I will caution you: the more you poop on them, all your local gun shops, look at this factor. Look at Dick's Sporting Goods. Look at Walmart. Look at these companies, these big, huge companies that will take it off their shelf. And that's something that's concerning. Because you are right. If every big manufacturer is like, like Walmart's and the Myers and all these places, like your little stores, if they take the ammunition off the shelf, where are you gonna go get it? Where are you gonna go get it? So it's always good. The better you treat your mom and pop stores, the better they can get on pricing. A lot of people on the second front, they don't understand when these gun stores are buying stuff. Most of the time, they're not dealing directly with the manufacturer. They're dealing with somebody that's a distributor. This is someone that they contact, that contacts another person, that contacts another person to get the product ordered, and they have to pay for it, and they have to get their cut. So that's why you see some things that are priced different in different stores.
Yeah.
I know some gun shops that deal directly with manufacturing because they have a contract to sell some products in there. But most of them, like my local store, they don't have contracts with anybody. They go through a distributor.
Yeah.
And right now you got to understand, it is hard to get ammunition.
Yeah.
Guns are going down. They're going down, and they're steadily going down. I'm starting to see a lot of firearms that are becoming more affordable, but the ammunition is still at a height. I mean, sometimes you can find a good deal. I found some Winchester 223 for $8.99 a box, but that was 2 months ago. So
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Yeah, and the other thing is, you guys got to remember that these big box stores do not have your back. They're not Second Amendment supporters. They're simply seeing you as a paying customer and that you have how much money you're going to spend on your out of your wallet that day in their store. When you become friends with gun shops and stuff like that, like Roll Call just said, he saw an M&P 22 little 22 semi-automatic pistol go out the door with a $2 profit. So that means that store spent probably an hour, 45 minutes with that customer selling him that gun. That boss had to pay that guy probably $12 to $15 an hour because they pay mom and pops pay better than these big box stores do.
They
And
do.
so they do. Because the simple fact of the matter is they've got less employees and they have to have a higher quality employee because they've got more responsibility.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of factors to go in, and I don't want people to get discouraged. I know it's discouraging when you go in the same old places and the prices ain't where they need to be, but there's modifications that you can do to continuously get trigger time. There's things that you can do to better yourself and be more proficient with your firearm. There's things that you can do. One of the things that I mentioned on that video is, if you have a box of ammunition, shoot a half a box, save up, buy a full box, shoot the other box. You're still cycling your old ammunition out, because ammunition, it'll stay good for quite some time, but I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. It'll go bad one day, but yet you're still resupplying yourself. That's why it's so important that, like, these new gun owners, they have no idea what they're in for. They don't understand us people that have been shooting for years upon years, or even when we were little kids growing up. You know, that's why it's so important to continuously, shop around. If you need it, you have to get it. That's what you have to do. But always do some limiting on your shooting, but don't stop altogether. And when you find those deals, pick that extra box up. It's not going to hurt you in the long run, because if this stuff ever goes on again, which I'm most definitely thinking we're gonna come into something here in the future. It's always good to start looking for these deals. If you got to pay a couple extra bucks at a mom and pop, pay that extra couple of bucks, because when you see everybody else scrambling and you're pushing your cart through the store and you're buying what you need, like food wise or clothing wise, and you don't have that pressure of buying ammunition again because you already have it, just like how you reload and everybody else reloads. I mean, primers were extinct at one point. Nobody could find primers. So it's always good to buy a little bit extra, limit yourself in some activity that you do, but don't cut yourself completely off from doing it. You can get around this stuff. I know I've got around the ammo crunch for quite some time. Whether it was a shortage like we just saw, or, unfortunately Sandy Hook, and then legislation that always it rears its ugly head all around the place that the politicians do. So it's very important. It's really important that you don't get discouraged. And that's what's important about this ammunition I just picked up. If this is going to help me get trigger time and be proficient, and I'm spending $5 to $6 less, I'm in good shape in my area. Now it always varies area to area. Now I live between Chicago, South Bend, and Indianapolis, and those three places are some of the most worst run uh, uh, cities in the United States. So you can understand why I'm seeing what I'm seeing on my shelves. But if you go further south past Indianapolis, when you start getting into Tennessee and Kentucky, you're starting to see it show up regularly. Oh, well, the prices aren't there, but still the ammo's still on the shelf. So just do your due diligence.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody needs to just calm down a little bit and think about really what's going on and not get too freaked out. It's going to clear itself up. You know, we've got bigger problems with the goofball in office right now. So we need to get over to the ATF and their website and fill out a comment for the pistol braces and a comment for the redefinition of a firearms frame or receiver. We're still short comments, and I would appreciate it if all my viewers would go over there and go ahead and make a comment over there. And if you don't have anything to say, go to GOA, and they have a boiler plate comment that you could just post or copy and paste and post it and square it away. Hey, Andy, 79 Z28, brother, what is going on? Just talking about some ammunition here in the house, finding out what's going on with Roll Call and his ammo quest. Eagle Eye Shooting is in the house. Hello. Kenny is a manufacturer. He's a firearms FFL manufacturer. And how much for a dime? A dinner? Dime? What is that? A dime? It's for a dime of what? How much for, what does it say? Where are the 22 at? How much for a dime? Oh, that was he's talking about. I was going to do a video in the beginning of the COVID thing when the ammunition crunch was, where I was standing on a street corner up from my house here, and I'm dressed in a hoodie and I'm with the baggy pants on and everything. The problem was I was going to have to go out and buy a whole new outfit, and I was going to stand there and I was going to have my wife pull up with her Audi and like roll the window down halfway and be like, how much for 100 primers, like that? And I'd be like, 100 for Dub, and have her put the $20 bill through the window, and I would hand him the primers, and then I'm like, get out of here, like that. I was going to do one of the dope deal like things, but I didn't have the clothing to make it because I don't have anything. I went through my whole wardrobe, and it looks like a fat redneck standing on the corner is what it looks like. I'm like, there's nothing I have that looks like I could portray, like a drug dealer. I'm like, it was so funny. My wife's like, honey, I don't think you have anything that's that baggy. I'm like, all your pants fit you correctly. I'm like, I'm laughing. Oh, hell, you guys are funny. Hey, Michael out there. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that these guys can only get this ammunition that is made overseas, and they're buying it because they can't get it, because they're dealing like Roll Call's saying, just in case to some of you out there in the audience that may not be informed, small mom and pop gun shops most of the time do not deal directly with manufacturers. Okay. If you want to be like my friend, he owns a gun shop up the street here. He's been doing it for at least a decade, maybe more. He's got a range, the whole 9 yards. He's also a police officer here in St. Pete, one of the volunteer police officers. But what I'm getting at is, this is how I know about pricing of guns and how little they make off of them. And the ammunition is really one of the primary reasons someone comes to a gun shop. If they're not coming to buy a firearm, the number two reason people go to a firearms retailer is to buy ammunition. And especially him being a range as well, he has to have reload ammunition on hand for his customers that don't want to buy factory ammo because of the price. So we have a local guy that reloads for a lot of the ranges in our area. And he's a great guy. He has a custom shop. He builds custom 1911s, and he's a nice friend. He's a good friend of mine. If I ever have any reloading, like specific questions, I can always ask him. He's running like 6 Dillon 1050s automated 24 hours a day right now. So yeah, there's that. And but the components are hard to get. the reloading components. The manufacturers are having the same problem. They're having slow trickle in components. They're making huge orders and they're getting half the order or the quarter of the order, and then they'll get another quarter of the order 3 or 4 days later. It's just so much of a demand right now. So just everybody hold their own and start picking up little pieces of reloading product and ammunition where you can for the best price that you can, and budget yourself. Don't go in the broke house and be sitting on, 100,000 rounds of ammunition that you spent $1 for a piece, and then in 3 years you've got 30 grand worth of ammunition instead of 100. So just try to buy what you're gonna use and a little bit extra, just so the guy behind you can get a box too. You
Yeah,
know,
of course. Like the another thing to throw in on the mom and pop stuff, these folks aren't putting in huge orders. They're not putting in huge orders like Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. They're not putting that kind of money to the table. So who do you think the manufacturers are going to cater to? Are they going to cater to your local, or are they going to cater to this big box store that's got about $350,000 budget?
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is what we were talking about, distributors. RSR is a huge distributor for firearm shops here in the Southeast. RSR is one of the top 5 distributors that you call when you need something for your gun shop and you don't have, okay, what I was going to get at, like, okay, see, my buddy's gun shop up the street. He is a authorized Glock dealer. That means he had to place a $20,000 order with Glock to become an authorized factory dealer. If you don't do that, then how do you get Glocks in your store? Well, you go through a distributor like RSR and you tell them, hey, look, I'm going to need 2 Glock 19s, a Glock 26, a Glock 30. They give you the whole 9 yards. I want a Smith & Wesson, this model, M&P this, M&P that. I want a car. I want, you order all your guns that way. If I open up a new gun shop and I'm a mom and pop shop and me and my wife have a limited startup fund. First off, I can't go out and become a Glock dealer authorized, a Kimber dealer authorized, because they all have, usually it's about a $20,000 minimum purchase buy-in. And, $20,000, that might be operating capital for your first quarter. So you're not going to be spending the quarter's capital on becoming a factory authorized dealer. You just can't afford to do it. So you work up your way to being factory authorized by going through distributors. And basically that's where you have a middleman and you're paying more. You're paying more for the product. You're not making as much off of it. So you have to sell 10 times the product number to make up the deficit, which is fine as long as you can get the product. But that brings us back to where we are today. You saw guns going up on prices. That's because supply and demand. There was a limited amount of demand, supply, and there was an increased amount of demand. It's the heart of capitalism. That's why I love this country. Firearms went up, about 20% across the board. Ammunition goes up because you simply cannot get it as well. It's supply and demand. The demand is through the roof right now. The supply is the same as it's always been, but you've got so many new gun owners, so many shooters and old gun owners that are freaked out about what's going on in this country, that are stockpiling ammunition, new gun owners stockpiling ammunition, and then people that shoot. And then you've got professional shooters that need ammunition for competition matches. You throw that all into the mix, and losing Remington this year to a huge financial bankruptcy problem, which kind of kind of stunted their growth a little bit with ammunition production. You put all that together and you put us in this situation right now. And that's why you see in the mom and pop shops and even the bigger stores now, these European branded ammunitions from Turkey, Spain, Lithuania. I've even seen some NATO ammo from Lithuania on the shelves. And I was like, wow, this stuff's come a long ways to be on my shelf.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're seeing now that are really making the market a little bit unsure of itself, but it'll come down. And as long as there's nothing like really major that's going to go on, but you got to look what we just went through. We went through lockdowns. We went through riots in some places. I mean, there's all kinds of different factors that are going to add to it. And then, like we were talking about, then you throw on tons of new gun owners, tons of them. I mean, that's a huge that's a huge upkeep that these companies had to do. But now I think things that are kind of calmed down. I always want to caution these people. I always want to caution the American manufacturer, and that's why I said in that video, you got to look, guys. I understand some of the circumstances that we're going through, but you're losing a share of the market and you're losing my business because your product's not on the shelf. Now, again, certain stores or maybe your local mom and pop, it's not really going to tell you what they're getting ammunition for, what their cost is, what they got to make on it. But I mean, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. I believe the market, like firearms, will start to dip as long as we don't have anything catastrophic happen like we've saw in the last year. As we got look at the new lockdowns that they're thinking about imposing. I mean, look at that. That's what drove people where they were, they were doing when they got out of the lockdown. Criminals couldn't be criminals at that time. There was nobody to victimize at that point. So what if we go into another one of these things? That's why I'm saying, go look on your shelves, scout around a little bit. If a place that you don't normally visit them a little bit more often. You might catch a deal. And then start buying what you need to buy. Don't go to a scalper. Watch your local gun shows or whatever gun show you go to, because there's a lot of people in them gun shows, boy. they're just looking to make a profit off of it. So just be patient. Let's see what the market does. Let's see if it's going to kind of calm down for the most part. But when I shoot this ammunition that I got, I'm definitely going to let you guys know if it's worth it. If as long as it gives you trigger time, I don't mind shooting some stuff. But basically, is it going to work? They do everything in-house. This Igman manufacturing folks, they do everything in-house. They get the raw materials. They make their own casings. They do their own lab work. They do their own testing in-house. I mean, they make a lot of different other products. They make a ton of different other bullets. I listed a ton of them. So
yeah, and you also said that they do the military for that country, correct?
The majority of their profits come from other countries, but the government does own a percentage of that company, which also makes the small arm ammunition for that government. They make links, belt fed guns. They make links for that. They make all types of little different doodads in there. So I'm going to give them a shot. I'm going to see what it's about. They look pretty good online, and their stuff's on my shelf. And I've looked at the rounds. I've looked at the casing, make sure there's no split casings in these rounds. And we're going to put it to the test. We're going to see. And as long as I can get some trigger time, I'm happy with that. But if it's better, then I'm saving a couple extra bucks. And you can't beat that.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing after you shoot a box of this stuff. I'm going to give you my address and I'm going to send you some money PayPal. I want you to do you reload?
No, I do not reload, unfortunately.
Okay, well we're going to have to change that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to send you some money so you keep 20 rounds of that stuff after you shot it and put it back in the package that it came in. Send it to me and I'm going to reload it live on a live stream and see how good the actual brass is. Good
Yeah.
evening to you, Dead Horse. I haven't heard or seen from you in a while. I
Yeah.
hope everything's going good with you. And you said change that Gore.
Algorithm.
Is that what I have? Algorithm?
Algorithms. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He made the internet. Not Night Strike. Al Gore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kenny, they didn't like my barn, a tour store front. Hey, Kenny, what you need to do is get your kids at school to buy them $100 piece of plywood and have them paint give the art department at your kid's school a big piece of plywood and have them paint your Desert Precision Rifle Works on a sign and then put it up on some 2x4s in front of your barn and snap a picture of that with the telephone number and everything, and that will suffice. They don't need. I know they will sell to home FFLs. That's why I don't understand unless they've changed their thing, because it used to be you could have what was it, a antiques firearms FFL, and you could order from RSR. um I just think, yeah, you got the same discount. You got the same discount. RSR does it by if you how much money you spend. Hey Scott 79, what's going on, brother? What brand of ammo are we talking about? Igman. And that's IGMAN, correct? Roll call?
That is correct.
Yeah, Igman. And they've been in business since 1958. And they've been making ammunition and they make it all in house. So apparently they pull their own cases, they draw their own brass in the production department. They make their own primers and everything. So I'm kind of interested in finding out how that ammunition shoots and how it reloads. And once I get the ammo back, I can pop the primers out and take a look at the brass and measure it up and see, if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, what quality of brass it is, and whatnot.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be another cool, thing to kind of experience and kind of explore and see. What's the quality of the materials that these companies are using? Like, there's a lot of weird brand. I've never heard of Challenger. Have you heard of that? I found
No.
some shotgun shells called Challengers. I'll have to see who the manufacturer is on that one. If anybody out in the chat has information on that, I see that a lot now. I saw it. When was it? A couple of days ago when I was getting some feed for the animals. I've never seen that brand of shotgun ammunition. So there's a lot of, I don't want to call it weird, but different
Different.
manufacturers
Yeah,
I've never
different.
experienced before.
Yeah, almost generic sounding. Challenger. Well, let's hope it
Mm-hmm.
does better than the space shuttle named after it.
Yeah, right.
It's just like the space shuttle. It went up and it comes back down.
Right.
But seriously talk though, yeah, I am interested. I've seen a lot of the stuff on, and I just think that if companies, if I'm worried about our small mom and pop the reason why another part of this chat is about is the small mom and pop shops, gun shops in our areas. You know, they're making money off of a very limited an amount of product that they can bring in their stores right now. Like guns now are finally starting to come back, but ammunition is still sparse. That's why you're seeing these brands from foreign countries on the shelves. Um, we're going to get a report from Roll Call, so I want everybody to go ahead and subscribe to his channel, because he's going to be shooting some of this new 223 Igman ammo out of one of his home built AR-15s that he put together himself. And like he's described his guns, he's got, you know, normal mil spec type stuff. It's not a $4,000, you know, spec rifle that you're going to shoot dime size holes at, you know, at 200 yards with. This is a run of the mill firearm, AR-15. So if it works in it, it will work in yours, you know, type of thing. And that's a good thing to make it on base on, because you don't want to put this stuff through a $6,000 gun and have it work in that, and then it won't work through your mil spec Smith & Wesson AR-15 or something. It just doesn't shoot. That's not going to do anybody any good, because most people don't have a $4,000 gun. They've got, you know, anywhere from a $700 to $1,000 AR-15, and that's how 90% of this country is. And you know, we need ammunition is what we need, and we need it cheap, and we need it to be reliable and safe, and that's the number one things. Hey, Scott79, brother, what's going on?
Yeah, the double R.
Yeah, he's starting to see Remington pop up.
I've seen a small sample size of Remington.
Yeah,
but it was
it might be. Yeah, I think they're setting up their machines is probably what they're doing. When they run lots, they're probably setting them up, and these are just test batches, the ones that they're setting out, and they're using them to set up the machines. And Eagle Eye, he builds rifles, custom AR-15s and custom bolt guns, and he's got a channel too on YouTube that's pretty good. But he's a good friend of mine, and he was telling me he's in the railroad industry, and he says guys and gals out there in the gun world, the primer, the powders, the bullets, the casings, and the actual live ammunition is coming. He sees it. He sees, you know, 25 tons of it inside of a boxcar. It's coming. It's just being bought up as fast as they can get it to us. So it's just going to take a little bit more time. We need to be a little bit more patient and just try to, you know, maybe start looking into purchasing some of these other manufacturers' ammunition, like the Igman and the ZQI and stuff like that, just to get us by. And then maybe y'all start looking into reloading. I'm really pushing people to start reloading their own ammunition. And a lot of people for years would say, no, I'll just buy factory. It's safer. Well, to that I say, look on YouTube at what Winchester's recall ammo did to a few people's guns. I've seen more than one handgun blown apart from that recall ammo. That's what caused that recall ammo. Is that people's handguns started blowing up, and they basically found out that they had an issue. They fixed it, and they took care of the people that's guns blew up. And so Winchester stood behind their product within their name. So that was very good. But is there anything else you want to throw in, roll call?
I think we put the screws to it. I mean, another brand I'll throw out there that I know is good is Norma. Norma's made in Switzerland. And that's another heavy hitter that you might come across on your shelves. And I can verify that stuff shoots good. I've shot their pistol ammo for quite some time. I was going to pick up a box of 357 to shoot through that 686 that I got and see how that stuff stacks up compared to some of the other stuff that I got in the safe. But Norma's another brand that I know is good that you should take a look at. And again, it's a little bit cheaper than what we're seeing for normal times or these crazy times that we're in. So there's another manufacturer, not an American manufacturer. It's plentiful in my area. I picked up a box of their 223, and I'll give you the price difference. I paid $20.99 for a 30-round box, and Winchester, I can't remember, and I don't want to pound Winchester into the ground. I can't remember if it was 5.56 or 223, but that stuff was $18.99 a box for 20 rounds. So again, I'm price crunching here. I'm looking at where I can get the most bang for my buck. I'm looking where I can save a couple of extra dollars. And since I've shot their pistol ammo, I'm going to shoot their rifle ammo and see if I can kind of skirt around that way.
I can go ahead and verify Norma's a good product. You're on a reloading channel right now, and every one of us know about Norma because we've all used Norma brass. Norma brass from Switzerland is like it's like Lapua light. Like it's like if Lapua is a dark full flavored beer, then your Norma is your light beer. It's a good brass. It's high quality ammunition. And now, so just to let you all know, Norma is making pistol brass and selling it now as well. So it's available, or will be, if not right now, it will be soon coming to market. Norma is a very good brand of ammunition. It's a very good product. It's made in Switzerland, and I don't think the Swiss do anything half-ass. And Squibload, hey brother, what's up? Sweden, yes sir. I use Norma brass. Yeah, I knew you did, Squib. That's some good stuff. Have you gotten any of their new pistol brass? They're making pistol brass now. So keep an eye out for that. And it's supposed to be reasonable as well. And this is the new thing, is it's made in Sweden, but it's still reasonable. That's the big thing. Because you go price 100 pieces of Lapua brass right now, and it's $125 plus shipping for just the brass. So, I mean, there it is, Lapua, though. If you're a reloader and you've ever had Lapua brass, you're like, my God, man, handle that brass. And you're just like, it's real brass. It feels like a cartridge case made from Winchester or Federal from the 60s. Like there's not as much tin in it. You can feel it. It's heavier. It's dense. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, Roll Call, and hanging out with us and letting us know about the information crunch down that you've been doing. And I really would appreciate you keeping us posted on what you find out for accuracy with that Igman ammo. And basically go ahead and send me 20 pieces of that brass after you shoot it. And we'll see what that stuff, what it washes up like, because I'll be able to tell the tin content in it just by wet tumbling it and taking a look at it after it tumbles with still media. And then we'll go ahead and we'll anneal it, and we'll put some bullets back in it, and we'll see how it shoots after we reload it once. And that'll give everybody an idea the quality of the brass that they're manufacturing at their plant.
Yeah, man. I got no problems with that, man. I'll if as long as I don't lose it while I'm shooting it, I'll send you whatever I recover, man. And then you can take it from there, and then we'll even get more data on these other manufacturers.
Yeah, do you have a 308?
Yeah, I got a 308. I got some who is it? I think it was Fort Scott stuff. I can send you to, and you can check out their product. and see what kind of brass they're rolling their ammunition with. I got quite a few pieces of that from last few years of sighting in my rifle for deer hunting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Very good. Then you know what? I may send you a box of the ZQI for you to shoot and try out and see what you think of it.
Yeah, I'll put it through. I'll
Yeah.
put anything through its paces at this point.
Yeah. Why not? We might as well. It's Swedish. That's right. Thank you, Squib. Instead of, but the Swedes and the Finns, I mean, they both build. If you look at their rifles from World War II, those bolt action rifles from the Swedes and the Finns, those things are built like, I mean, handcrafted. I mean, stuff that you don't see in military grade firearms. You would pick up like a German Mauser, and you can see everything's engineered for function. But when you pick up a Finnish gun or a Swedish gun, you're like, it's just the extra time spent removing any machine marks off of when they do the actions and barrel meetups. It's ridiculous. And the quality of the woodworking, that the wood working skills that they use to make their stocks, it's just unbelievable, the quality of those old mil spec rifles from Sweden and Finland. It's unbelievable. And I know Squib's into surplus too.
Oh yeah, he loves that stuff. Squibby loves that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. But I think I'm gonna have you back on the show a couple times, Roll Call. We're gonna keep going through this, and we're both gonna do some comparison shooting on targets and see what this ammunition's all about, and keep
I'm down.
exploring this. All right, sounds like a plan, man.
Right on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming by tonight. And make sure on your way out, you give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And leave a comment if you feel like you need to, or a question if you have one. Guys, all have a nice evening, and thank you very much for participating. Anything you'd like to close it out with, Roll Call?
Thanks for having me, man. I really do appreciate it. You guys be aware out there. There's still things going on. The world is forever changing every day that we wake up. I just caution everybody not to panic. You know, things will get better, especially with ammunition. It's going to take a little bit of time, but don't panic. Stay the course, and take somebody shooting. Thanks for having me, man.
You're welcome. And thanks, ladies and gentlemen, once again for stopping by tonight. We really appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.